Study 2 hours a week to become a senior developer in a year. Hello everyone. Recently, Unity's PolySpatial, which is the development tool for Apple Vision Pro, released the latest version 2.0. Compared to previous versions, it has had a lot of updates and introduced more new features specifically for the Vision OS 2.0 system. PolySpatial 2.0 needs to be imported in Unity version 6, but as of the time of recording this video, both PolySpatial 2.0 and Unity 6 are still in preview versions, which means they are in the beta testing phase. Since these are not official versions, there may be some bugs, so be prepared for that. In my experience using PolySpatial 2.0, I've encountered countless issues full of frustrations and tears, so I made this tutorial to introduce how to import PolySpatial 2.0 and how to package the program to run on the Apple Vision Pro. I hope this can help everyone avoid some detours. First, we need to do some preparatory work. You need to ensure that your Apple Vision Pro system is updated to the latest Vision OS 2.0 version. However, even Vision OS 2.0 is divided into several smaller versions. You just need to check if there's a newer version available for update, and if there is, update it to the latest system. Vision OS 2.0 is currently still in beta, and if you want to update to the beta version of Vision OS, you must make sure that your Apple account on the headset is linked to a developer account so that the beta test version will appear in the update section. Next, ensure that your version of Xcode is also up to date. The latest version is the beta version. I have downloaded Xcode 16 Beta 4, which can be downloaded from the Xcode official website. Now that Xcode has released an updated version, use the latest version. I have now opened the Xcode official website, and we can click on the download section to choose Xcode betas. Since our Vision OS is still in beta testing, we need to use the beta version of Xcode to develop Vision OS 2.0 applications. I am now on the download page where you can download Xcode 16 Beta 4. As long as you download the latest Xcode beta version, you should be good to go. On this page, you can also download the latest simulator if you are developing using a simulator. Therefore, you need to make sure that the Apple Vision Pro system is upgraded to the latest Vision OS 2.0 version and that Xcode 16 Beta is downloaded on your Mac. Next, we need to install Unity 6 version in Unity Hub. We need to install the Unity 6 version specifically for the Silicon version, which is for M-chip-based Macs. Once you've successfully installed the Unity 6 version in Unity Hub, you can create a new project. So I'll click New Project. Then for the version at the top, choose the Unity 6 inches version. Next, for the template in the middle section, select the Universal 3D template, which uses the URP, Universal Render Pipeline. When developing applications for the Apple Vision Pro, it's best to use the Render pipeline. Then, you can modify the project name and its location on your computer. Afterward, click Create Project to create the Unity project. Okay, I've now successfully opened this Unity project. First, click on the Unity menu, go to File, and then click Build Settings. You can see that the interface of Unity 6 has changed somewhat compared to previous versions. This interface is responsible for packaging. So let's first switch the target platform. Select Vision OS and click Switch Platform. When you see the active sign next to Vision OS, it means that the target platform for packaging has been switched to Vision OS. Next, look at the Target SDK section. If you want to package your Unity program for the actual Apple Vision Pro, you need to choose the Device SDK. If you want to package it for the simulator, choose the Simulator SDK. Okay, since I want to test on a real device, I'll choose the Device SDK. Next, we need to import the PolySpatial 2.0 development package. Currently, importing this 2.0 version requires manual import. First, open the Window menu, then go to Package Manager. Click the plus sign in the top left and use the Install Package by Name method to import the package. You need to manually enter the name and version of the PolySpatial development package. The name and version number can be found in the PolySpatial official documentation. Open the official documentation, scroll down, and you'll find the name of the PolySpatial package. Copy it. The version is 2.0.0.9. So keep that in mind. And then return to Unity. Click Install Package by Name. Paste the PolySpatial package name. Enter the version number 2.0.0-pre.9 and click Install. Okay, now the PolySpatial related development package has been imported into my Unity project. You can see that all these packages are version 2.0.0-pre.9. Next, let's open the Edit menu and go to Project Settings. First, in XR Plugin Management, check the box for Apple Vision OS, but you'll need a Unity Pro license to check this option. Otherwise, it will remain unchecked. Okay, once checked, click the PC button and select the PolySpatial XR option. Then, click on Apple Vision OS. We need to fill out two fields here. If the program wants to access gesture tracking and spatial data for certain purposes, we can just enter any text. For example, we can specify that gesture tracking is for input and spatial data is for MR mixed reality experience. Of course, you can enter anything in these fields. Now, let's look at the App Mode section. You'll notice there are 4 modes, which are significantly different from previous versions. The windowed mode is the same as before. And then let's look at the remaining 3 modes. First, metal rendering with compositor services. I've introduced this in a previous Vision OS app tutorial. Metal is Apple's low-level graphics rendering API. which has been used in iOS and macOS platforms since the beginning. This windowed mode also uses Metal for rendering. Metal rendering with compositor services is a rendering framework for XR, extended reality applications, also based on Metal rendering. In Vision 0.0, this rendering method only supported VR virtual reality application development. However, in Vision OS 2.0, this rendering method also supports MR mixed reality application development, meaning it supports perspective rendering effects, allowing the user to see the real environment through perspective. Before PolySpatial 2.0, this mode was used for VR, but now it supports both VR and MR applications. So calling it VR mode is no longer quite accurate. So it is now called Metal Rendering with Compositor Services to represent the new mode. The next mode, Reality Kit with PolySpatial, originally corresponded to the MR mode. In Vision OS 1.0, MR applications had to use Apple's Reality Kit rendering framework. If you used Apple's own Reality Kit for rendering, Unity had to give up its own rendering pipeline and use PolySpatial to convert the Unity project into something that Reality Kit could understand. Ultimately, everything would be handed over to Reality Kit for rendering. Therefore, if you use Reality Kit for rendering, Unity does not participate in rendering. However, if you use Metal Rendering with Compositor Services, you can still use Unity's own rendering pipeline. The last mode, Hybrid, allows you to switch between Metal Rendering and Reality Kit rendering modes. This mainly comes from the fact that in Vision OS 2.0, Metal Rendering now supports MR applications, so the app mode can be distinguished by the different rendering methods. Next, I'll demonstrate how to import the official sample from the PolySpatial development package into the Apple Vision Pro. Since the sample scenes in the PolySpatial development package use Reality Kit for rendering, I need to change the app mode to Reality Kit with PolySpatial. Then, there's an important option at the bottom. We need to check this option. This option is very important, as my tests have shown that if you don't check it, the Unity project converted into an Xcode project cannot be packaged into the Apple Vision Pro. It will give the ARM64 branch out of range error. Therefore, I recommend checking this option to avoid weird errors later. Now I'll import the official sample scenes from PolySpatial 2.0. Open the Window menu. Go to Package Manager. Find the PolySpatial development package under In Project. Click on Samples and import these two samples. After importing, you can find the Samples folder in the Assets folder of your project and inside it, the Scenes folder. Okay, these are the sample scenes provided by the PolySpatial development package. You can see that compared to earlier versions, new sample scenes have been added. Now, we can open any sample scene at random. First, we need to import a font file resource. To do this, we can find a warning sign here and click on it. Okay, at this point, Unity will pop up a window. We click Import, and it will import TextMesh Pro, which is Unity's resource related to fonts. This is because sometimes we need to display text on a UI panel, and the text requires a corresponding font resource to be displayed properly. Okay, after clicking Import, it imports the relevant font resources. Next, let's configure Play to Device, which is Unity's tool for real-time streaming and debugging. With this tool, we can directly click the Run button in Unity, and the Unity display will be streamed to the Apple Vision Pro. This way, even if we don't package the program into the headset, we can still debug it. However, there's one thing to note. The Play to Device tool is part of the PolySpatial development package, which is used for developing MR with RealityKit rendering. So currently, if you want to use Play to Device for real-time debugging, it will only work with MR rendered by RealityKit. If you are developing a VR or MR application using metal rendering, real-time debugging with Play to Device is not available. Okay, let's open Play to Device. It's located under the Window menu in PolySpatial. Click Play to Device and open the panel. We need to configure the Direct Connection section below. You can choose any name, but the host IP address must match the IP displayed in the Unity Play to Device software on the headset. Therefore, we need to install the Unity Play to Device software on the Apple Vision Pro. Where can we download this software? We can open the official PolySpatial documentation. When viewing the documentation, make sure to check the version number. I'm selecting the 2.0.0-pre.9 version. Now open Play to Device and scroll down. Okay, here are two links. If you are using the 2.x version of PolySpatial, you need to open the link to install Play to Device software on the headset. If you are using the 1x version, you need to open the link above. Since I'm using the 2.0 version, I'll click this link to install the Play to Device software. After opening the link, it will redirect to the TestFlight app on the Mac. I've already imported the Play to Device v2 software into my TestFlight app. This is what the TestFlight app looks like. Okay, you'll also need to install the TestFlight app on the Apple Vision Pro. This way, you can install the Play to Device v2 software from TestFlight onto your headset. Okay, I have already installed it. After installation, you can open the Play to Device app on the Apple Vision Pro. Make sure that the headset and your Mac are connected to the same network. And then you can modify the host IP in the Play to Device settings panel in Unity. This IP must be identical to the one displayed in the Play to Device app on the Apple Vision Pro. Then you can click Add Device, check the Connect box, and enable Connect on Play. At this point, Play to device will be properly configured. You can try clicking the Run button in Unity. If configured correctly, you will see the Unity scene displayed on the Apple Vision Pro. Next, I will demonstrate how to package this Unity program into the headset for real-world testing. Okay, let's first select all the scenes in this folder. Then open File, Build Profiles, click the scene list, remove the default scene, and drag the selected scenes into the scene list. Then make sure the Project Launcher scene is at the top of the list. Okay, this is a launcher scene required by PolySpatial for the official sample scenes. Okay, now we can click Build to package the project and choose a folder to save it. Okay, after the build is complete, we can open Xcode Beta and click Open Existing Project to open an existing project. We need to find the packaged folder, which should be here. Then click the .xcodeproj file and open it to load the Xcode project. After opening it, click here, click this button, check this box, and select your Apple developer account under Team. Then, from the top, select Unity Vision OS. Choose the Apple Vision Pro device connected to the Mac. And click the Run button. You will see it packaging the project. Okay, if a window pops up, I will enter my Mac's lock screen password. Once packaging is complete, you will see a success message. And then we just wait for Xcode to package the program into the Apple Vision Pro. At this point, if you put on the Apple Vision Pro, you will be able to see the Unity scene inside the headset, which means the program has been successfully packaged.